Real Madrid walked into the Hard Rock Stadium with pride in their hearts and sky-high ambition. But by the final whistle, it was the numbers on the scoreboard that left Xabi Alonso deep in thought. A match they dominated in possession, dictated across almost every blade of grass. Yet the scoreboard told a different story. 1 goal. The same number as Al Hilal, a side seen as heavy underdogs before kickoff. The first sting came from the stats. Real Madrid fired 19 shots, 7 of which hit the target. Their expected goals, XG, was a hefty 2.63, nearly double Al Hilal's 1.88. And yet, the game never felt out of reach for the Saudi Arabian side. Los Blancos took the lead in the 34th minute through a simple close-range finish from Gonzalo Garcia. But instead of pressing the advantage, they let their opponents back in. Asensio, under no real pressure, lost the ball right outside the box and then dragged his man down in frustration, handing Al Hilal a gift-wrapped penalty. Ruben Neves buried it calmly, wiping out Madrid's lead in an instant. And then came the moment that may haunt them. Deep into stoppage time, Real Madrid had a golden chance to seal all 3 points. But Federico Valverde stepped up and missed from the spot. His tame, low shot easily gathered by a keeper who thrives under pressure. Yassine Bounou, the Moroccan wall, had seen it all before. It was the kind of moment that laid bare Madrid's real issue on the night. They were the architects of their own frustration, wasteful in front of goal. Not just with the missed penalty, but earlier too. Remember Garcia's powerful header early in the second half? Goal-bound. But Bounou once again flew through the air like a man possessed and tipped it away. He ended the match with 4 saves, twice as many as Thibaut Courtois. When the goalkeeper on the other team earns the highest rating of the night, you know the problem isn't creating chances. It's converting them. Madrid didn't lack control. They lacked the killer instinct. And if you rewind to those Club World Cup campaigns of the past, where they blew away teams like Kashima Antlers, Al Ain, and Gremio, you'll notice the difference. Back then, Real Madrid didn't just play well, they finished ruthlessly. Xabi Alonso now faces a critical task, turning pretty numbers into cold, hard goals. On American soil, the blueprint is there. This team wants to dominate the Club World Cup. But unless those dazzling stats are turned into scoreboard dominance, Real Madrid will keep making life harder for themselves in their quest for glory. From the opening whistle, it was clear this wouldn't be a walk in the park. Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Jr. were shackled. On one side, Koulibaly, unafraid of any challenge. On the other, Cancelo, crafty and experienced, always a step ahead. The duo, who many thought would tear Al Hilal's backline apart, found themselves suffocated. Often, they barely had time to control the ball before it was snatched away, and the nerves weren't limited to the front line. At the back, Real Madrid looked shaky. Raúl Asensio's careless dribbling near his own box gifted Leonardo a chance, and ultimately, a penalty. Meanwhile, all eyes were on Trent Alexander-Arnold, making his debut in white. His movement was lively, his intent clear, but the final impact wasn't there. Instead of bombing forward and whipping in trademark crosses, Trent was forced deeper and deeper, patching holes behind him. Sure, Real Madrid still passed the ball with elegance. They still dictated the tempo. But look closer. Al Hilal absorbed that pressure with calmness, sitting deep, waiting. They never looked overwhelmed, never looked broken. And when your opponent still believes they can win in the 90th minute, you haven't done enough. This wasn't a loss, but it didn't feel like a victory either. A game where the stats should have told the story of domination, but instead, they revealed something else entirely. Control means nothing without conviction. The longer the match went on, the more fearless Al Hilal became. With each tackle, each interception, they proved one thing. Real Madrid, for all their stars and swagger, are still vulnerable. No matter how big the name, constant pressure exposes weaknesses. If Real Madrid want to win this tournament, dominating possession won't be enough. They need to turn control into total dominance, pressing with intensity, creating real danger, and finishing with clinical precision. This draw exposed a brutal truth. They can dictate the tempo, but they still lack the instinct to finish teams off. You can outplay weaker sides with skill alone. But to be the best in the world, you have to impose your will from the first whistle, set the tone, create fear, and leave no room for doubt. In Miami, Real Madrid failed to do that. And that's the difference between being in control and being truly ruthless. If there's one thing leaving Madridistas scratching their heads after the final whistle at Hard Rock Stadium, it's the feeling that this team, despite its arsenal of heavy weaponry, still isn't truly complete. Kylian Mbappé was out with a slight fever just before their Club World Cup opener. His absence triggered a domino effect up front. Vinicius lacked a partner to share the load, Rodrigo was more easily contained, and Asensio remains a promising talent who hasn't yet proven he can turn the tide when Real Madrid needs an explosion of brilliance. Modric was brought on later in the game, a clear vote of confidence in his experience. But in a match where Real Madrid had mere minutes to find a decisive goal, the Croatian midfielder's magic wasn't enough to deliver a knockout punch. Then there's Trent Alexander-Arnold, who hasn't shown much beyond a few runs down the flank. He's only had a handful of training sessions with the squad, and it's simply unrealistic to expect Trent to immediately integrate into Real Madrid's possession-based transitional system. You saw him run, constantly calling for the ball, but he often looked like a missing piece in Xabi Alonso's tactical puzzle. A couple of moments even showed him and Bellingham getting in each other's way. Chemistry takes time, and time is a luxury in a short tournament like this. Even goalkeeper Courtois admitted after the match, "We're still playing in Ancelotti's style. Changing our playing style in 4 days is impossible." All these disconnected details add up to a worrying truth. Real Madrid dropped points at the Club World Cup for the first time since 2000. It might sound like a trivial stat, but it clearly signals instability in their ambition to dominate club football worldwide. Pachuca and RB Salzburg, their next two hurdles, won't be easily intimidated if Real Madrid continues to take the field with disjointed pieces. And further down the line, even more formidable opponents await: Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern Munich, Manchester City, or Boca Juniors. Every upcoming match will be a test for Alonso and his players to perfectly align each piece, transforming Real Madrid into an unyielding, seamless unit. A new coach, new signings, new superstars. These are fantastic boosts for the media and headlines. But the formula for glory demands more. This team needs to play with clarity, discipline, patience, and above all, a ruthless clinical edge to finish off their opponents. No one hands out trophies for beautiful possession football if you can't lock down the game. And for Alonso's Real Madrid, that question still hangs in the air after that night in Miami. Clearly, the FIFA Club World Cup isn't a stage for Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid to stroll through or experiment with their lineup. With their prestigious status and rich history, Los Blancos entered this tournament with one singular objective: to claim the championship title. The match against Hilal exposed weaknesses that need immediate attention, particularly their lack of decisiveness in front of goal and their inability to assert absolute control to suffocate the opposition. If they want to lift this prestigious trophy and affirm their status as world champions, Real Madrid must transform impressive statistics into concrete goals, tighten their discipline, and display the necessary ruthlessness of a true winner. The road ahead is challenging, but with their undeniable quality, Real Madrid can absolutely regain their balance, integrate all their pieces, and ultimately claim the crown.